It wasn't ice. It was something breathing, cold and ancient. Buried beneath the Arctic, there's a place no map shows, where time stops, where memory freezes, where screams don't echo. They stay. We sent a special ops unit. Only fragments returned. Broken minds, frostbitten voices, and one repeating phrase. We never left. We never left. If it was never alive, why does it still dream of us? They dropped us in silence. No ground control, no radio check. Just whiteout wind and the distant churn of rotors vanishing into sky. I stepped off the chopper first, boots punching into the ice crust. Cold climbed through the soles like it had claws. The outpost stood maybe 200 meters ahead, half buried in snow, antennas bent like snapped fingers, windows dark, no heat signature, no movement. Callahan scanned with his comm gear. Dead band, whole grids fried, red kicked a buried cable, power lines iced 6 feet under. Holt didn't say a word. She was already moving toward the door, cutting a clean path through powder waist deep. We weren't tourists. This was NATO black level. Retrieve research, confirm survivor status, exfil. That's what command said. That's all they said. The station door was jammed. Holt forced it open with a hydraulic jack. The metal shrieked, high and wrong, like pain echoing off walls. Inside, frost coated the walls, like old bone. No lights, no heaters humming, just stillness. Then I smelled it, under the rust and oil, something coppery, thick. We passed a shattered visor mask, cracked clean down the middle. Next to it, a trail of frozen blood, dragged into the dark. No shell casings, no sign of struggle. Just the feeling that we were already too late and not alone. The hallway swallowed our light. Emergency strips flickered weakly along the floor, casting pulsing glows like dying heartbeat monitors. The silence was deeper in here, dense, like it had mass. I motioned forward, rifle up. Holt fell in behind me. Callahan watched our six. The walls were covered in frost patterns, almost floral, almost symbols. Rivera brushed one gently with his glove. The frost snapped off like glass, and underneath, a smear of black. Blood? He whispered. No, Holt muttered, squinting. Burned oil, maybe both. Red found the first locker room. Its door hung halfway open, scratched from the inside. Not claw marks, something thinner. Fingernails. I stepped inside, gear scattered, jackets torn open like they'd been yanked off in a panic. Someone had jammed a metal bench against a vent. It was scorched. On the far wall, written in something dark and chalky, "Do not sleep. It knows when you're dreaming." We didn't speak for a long moment. Then Callahan's headset crackled. Ward. Ward. Do you copy? He froze. That wasn't me. Everyone turned. His unit was unplugged. Battery out. Dead. Holt slowly reached for her sidearm. It's repeating your name. I looked at Callahan. He was pale. Real pale. It sounded like my sister, he said. She's been dead 8 years. We regrouped in the command center, a circular room with a bank of dead monitors and one cracked window frosting over from the inside. Rivera dug through a pile of thermal blankets and came up with a leather-bound notebook, water damaged and frozen stiff. Found it under a cot, he said. Looks like the lead scientist kept notes. The pages peeled apart reluctantly. Holt held her flashlight while I read. Day 12. No sunlight. Storm hasn't stopped. The team is hearing voices. Might be psychosis. Day 18. Power outages started. Cameras captured movement in zones no one entered. Twice we locked the outer hatch and found it open the next morning. Day 23. Dr. Yun walked outside barefoot, never came back. Left her boots in the mess hall. Day 27. We sealed the tunnels. Whatever's in the ice, it wants us dreaming. I looked up. Everyone was listening. The tunnels weren't in the station schematics, Holt said. That's the part bothering you? Red snapped. not the something in the ice part. Rivera was staring at the window. "It's here," he whispered. "It's watching us right now." A deep groan echoed through the walls. Not wind, not pipes. Something shifting below us. Callahan checked his gear. Whatever it is, it's under the floor. Then the monitors blinked once. Just once. A single frame. Security cam feed. Someone or something standing in the blizzard, staring straight into the lens. We had to move. The generator wasn't responding, and Holt said if we didn't stabilize the core, the backup heat would fail by nightfall. That gave us maybe 6 hours before everything froze over. Equipment, blood, lungs. I ordered the team to split. Rivera and Callahan would sweep medical and storage. Holt, Red, and I would head to engineering. We kept comms open. No hero runs, no detours. As we moved, the station creaked around us, groaning like an old ship. The deeper we went, the more unnatural it felt. Not just cold. Watched. We passed a mirror in the hall. My reflection didn't sink for half a second, just enough to notice. I didn't say anything. Engineering was buried in frost. A control panel had blown out, melted, and refrozen in a warped mess of wires. Red knelt beside it, working fast, hands shaking too much to pretend it was just the cold. Then our radios hissed. "Ward, respond. It's waking up." I snatched mine off my vest. "Callahan, say again." Nothing. Just static. Then another voice. Female. "Don't open it, Ward. Please don't open it again." It wasn't Callahan. It wasn't Rivera. Holt's face went pale. That was my old CO. She died in Greenland. Same mission profile. Same ice. She stared at the vent overhead, eyes wide. It remembers us. We returned to the command center. Rivera and Callahan were already there, but something was off. Rivera was seated, eyes locked on a monitor. Static danced across the screen. Just static. But he wasn't blinking. "Rivera?" I asked. He didn't turn. "I saw it," he said flatly. "It was standing in the hallway, watching the camera. Then it wasn't." Callahan sat hunched by the wall, fumbling with his gear. "We lost contact down there. Comms jammed hard, but I kept hearing her voice, my sister, over and over." Holt stepped up to the terminal and rewound the footage, frame by frame. There, 2 seconds of clean feed. One camera showed the hallway outside storage, and in that frame, a figure, not fully visible, just a distorted outline. Its limbs were wrong, too long. Its shadow stretched the wrong direction, up toward the ceiling light. "Freeze it," I said. She did. The thing stood motionless, faceless, like it was waiting for something. Behind it, the storage door was slightly open. Rivera whispered, "We locked that door behind us." The station lights flickered. Holt didn't look away. "It wants us to know it's real." And then every monitor in the room blinked once. Static gone. Now they all showed live feeds. But every hallway was empty, except for one. The feed outside engineering. The door was wide open. We'd locked it. Red lost it first. He backed away from the monitors, hands shaking. No, that door was sealed. I welded it shut myself. There's no way." "Calm down," I said. But I was lying to all of us. I wasn't calm either. Rivera stood, pale. "I want out. We need extraction. Now." Callahan tried the comms again. Just dead air. No ping. No satellite lock. Just breathing. Not ours. Not human. "You never left, Isaac." The voice came through Callahan's headset. Whispered. Cold. Familiar. I stepped forward, yanked the earpiece out, and heard it keep whispering. The headset was unplugged. Still whispering. Red turned to Holt. "You said it was sealed. You said we were safe." She didn't answer. She was staring at the glass panel on the main door, a palm print on the inside. Frosted, but fresh. Long fingers. I moved to the hall, rifle up. Holt followed. The corridor was empty, except for the blood. Thin trails smeared along the walls, as if something had been touching everything as it passed, like it needed to feel its way through. Then we heard Rivera scream. We ran back in seconds, found him on the floor gasping, pointing to the monitors. They were blank again, except one, his face, staring into the lens, expressionless, pale, breathing fog onto the camera. But he was still here, on the floor. We all saw it. There were two of him. The hatch to the lower levels hadn't been opened in years. Holt had to override 3 layers of security just to get it to groan. The stairs descended into pitch. No lights, no warmth, just a metallic tunnel lined with frost-like veins. Every breath steamed and stuck to our masks. We moved slow, controlled. No one spoke. Even Red had gone quiet. Halfway down, Callahan stopped. "There's something wrong with the steel," he said. Holt ran a hand across the wall. The metal pulsed faintly beneath her glove, like it was alive. We reached the base of the shaft. Floodlights flickered to life from a backup grid. The space opened into a chamber, not listed on any map. Massive, circular, carved out of ice and rock. Symbols lined the walls, deep grooves, some glowing faintly green. Not paint, not burn marks. The light came from inside the ice. At the far end, a narrow tunnel descended even further, but it was blocked by a thick wall of frost that had formed unnaturally flat. Too smooth, too symmetrical. Holt approached. "This isn't ice, it's something else, like crystallized carbon, sealed from the inside." Then her flashlight flickered, just for a second. In that blink, we all saw it. A face, pressed against the wall, screaming silently from within, frozen in the ice, and it was moving its mouth. We backed away from the wall. The face vanished, melted back into the ice like it had never been there. But it had. We'd all seen it, felt it. Rivera whispered. I recognized him. That was one of the researchers from the personnel manifest. Dr. Petrov. Petrov was reported dead, Holt said. Then why was he still moving? The temperature dropped, fast. Frost bloomed across our weapons and masks. My joints ached as the cold pierced deeper than skin. That's when the tunnel lights died. We froze. No one breathed. Then a sound. Behind us. Not footsteps. The scrape. A wet, dragging slide across steel. I turned. Rifle raised. Beam scanning. Empty. Then, it dropped from the ceiling. Twisted limbs hit the floor in a blur of movement. It was tall. Too tall. Bones stretching wrong. Skin glistening like black ice. A featureless face stared back at us, hollow-eyed, mouth stitched with veins of frozen blood. Red screamed. Fired. The rounds hit. But the thing folded sideways like smoke in the wind. Then it lunged. It hit Red full force. He vanished beneath it, screaming. Then, silence. The thing snapped upright. It turned its head slowly toward us. We didn't run. We bolted. Back up the stairs, scrambling, shouting, not checking if we were all still there. I didn't see Red again. Just a trail of steam where his body had been. We sealed the hatch behind us. Holt jammed the lock and welded the seam. The metal hissed and popped, but I knew it wouldn't matter. If that thing wanted through, it wouldn't knock. Callahan was pacing, hyperventilating. Red's gone. He was right behind me. I swear to God He's not, I said. Rivera sat in the corner, staring at his own hands. It didn't move like a living thing, like physics didn't apply. No, Holt said. It moved like it remembered being human. That silenced everyone. The lights overhead buzzed. They stayed on, but dimmer now, as if the power grid was giving up. Then we noticed something new. Our breath wasn't steaming anymore. Holt checked her gauge. The temperature just rose 15 degrees in under a minute. How? I asked. She looked up. It's changing the station's environment, like it's pushing the cold back when it wants in. I scanned the wall. The frost patterns were different again, more deliberate. They spiraled now, like a maze or a trap. Callahan kicked a crate. We need to blow the tunnel now. Forget the data. Forget command. No, I said. We finished the mission. He stepped forward. This isn't a mission anymore, Ward. It's a burial site. And I realized something. He wasn't just scared. He wasn't sure I was still real. We found the hidden chamber by accident. Rivera noticed an airflow draft behind the storage wall, a seam in the steel. Holt found the latch. A false panel groaned open, revealing a downward shaft carved entirely from ice. Smooth, spiraled, not made by human hands. We descended. No words, no plan. Just the sense that this was where it wanted us to go. The chamber opened like a cathedral, lit from within by the ice itself, soft green pulses running through the walls like veins. And in those walls, faces, dozens, hundreds. Frozen mid-scream, some pressed against the surface, some curled in fetal positions. Their eyes moved, not all at once, just one or two, tracking, pleading. Rivera gagged. These are the researchers, Holt said, not dead, absorbed. No, Callahan whispered. They're still thinking. It's keeping them alive, frozen in it. We moved slowly around the chamber, flashlights sweeping across jagged surfaces. There were carvings in the floor, not letters, memories, etched images, soldiers, fire, old radios, families, burned into the ice. It feeds on thought, I murmured, on fear. That's why it mimics voices. That's why it knows our names. We reached the center, a pillar of ice perfectly shaped like a man, not frozen, sculpted, deliberate. It wore a NATO patch. Mine. Tucked beneath the ice sculpture was a rusted lockbox. Rivera cracked it open with shaking hands. Inside, a journal. Older than the current mission. Much older. Holt flipped through the brittle pages, reading aloud. March 6th, 1951. We found the cavern. We thought it was Soviet until we saw the walls breathe. March 9th. It doesn't kill to eat. It kills to remember. Each one it touches becomes part of it. Screams become language. Regret becomes flesh. March 12th. We tried fire. It laughed. I felt something shift in my chest. Not fear, recognition. This had happened before. Not once. Repeatedly. Same pattern, same silence, same cover-up. Callahan stared at the final entry, which Holt read aloud with a cracked voice. We're not the first. We won't be the last. The ice doesn't forget. It just waits. Rivera collapsed to his knees. It's not hunting. It's gathering. Callahan was already backing toward the tunnel. We shouldn't be here. None of us. We were sent as offerings. I stepped toward him. No one knew. No. Command always knows, he snapped. That's why it's always Black Ops. No rescue, no report. Just us, fed to it like meat. Then Holt found the last object in the box. A photo, a group shot. Arctic crew, standing outside the station. One of the faces was me, wearing gear I'd never worn, in a photo I never took. Callahan snapped. He raised his weapon, not at me, not at the others, but at the sculpture in the center of the chamber, my reflection frozen in ice. I'm not dying down here, he growled. I'm not becoming one of your memories. Callahan, I said, hands raised. That's not me. That's not real. It will be if we stay. He turned and bolted toward the exit. Holt moved to stop him, but I held her back. Let him go. Are you insane? She hissed. No, he won't get far. We followed at a distance. The spiral tunnel felt longer on the way out, tighter, like the walls were closing in, whispering. We heard his footsteps fade, then stop. We found him slumped against the wall, panting, rifle dropped. "Callahan?" He didn't respond. Then he looked up, and I felt the hair on my arms rise. His eyes were blank, milky, like the faces in the walls. He smiled. "He remembers you too, Ward." And then he vanished. Not blinked, not ran, gone, like the air took him. Holt was breathing hard. "It's inside now, not just in the station. In us." I didn't argue. Couldn't, because part of me agreed. The station groaned like it was breathing. Walls flexed, pipes sang. Every surface was sweating frost. We were down to 3. Holt, Rivera, and me. We returned to the upper level, but everything had changed. Corridors curved wrong. Rooms had shifted. Familiar paths led to dead ends. "It's reshaping the layout," Holt said, "like it's trying to confuse us." "No," Rivera murmured, "like it's hurting us." My rifle felt like a toy now. Pointless. We passed a mirror, new, uncracked, not there before. It showed the 3 of us, except Rivera's reflection wasn't moving. He stared. "I think it's already taken me." I didn't respond. Holt didn't look. We both knew the truth was heavier than any weapon. We reached the server room. The core drive we were sent to recover was there, frozen in a block of crystal clear ice, untouched. But we weren't alone. It stood at the far end, the hollow sentinel. It wasn't running anymore, wasn't hiding. It just stood there, arms slightly raised, as if welcoming us home. Its face shifted, flickering between forms. Callahan, Red, Rivera, me, no sound, just that unbearable presence. Holt raised her pack. "We end this." She armed the satchel charge, set it to a 10-second delay. "Go," she whispered. "Don't stop. Don't look back." I didn't argue with her. I knew from the start, someone wouldn't leave. Holt crouched beside the charge, fingers steady despite the cold, the fear. The blast will crack the floor, collapse the chamber. Might not kill it, but maybe it forgets us. Rivera stood frozen, literally. Frost bloomed across his gear, his skin paling. His eyes had that same milky glaze I'd seen in Callahan. "Holt," I said, "there's another way." "There isn't," she replied, voice calm. "It followed me back last time. I didn't stop it then." I grabbed her shoulder, but she shook her head. "You finish the mission. Tell them what happened, if they ever listen." I didn't want to leave, but I ran, back through the warping halls. Rivera staggered beside me, silent, dazed. Behind us, the sentinel didn't chase. It just stood over her, watching. At the end of the hall, I turned once, just once. Holt looked up at me through the frost glass corridor door. Then she smiled. The world cracked open behind her. Light, heat, shatter. Then nothing but snow in my ears and darkness in my head. When I woke up, I was outside, face buried in a snowbank. The station behind me was gone, swallowed by steam and ice. Rivera was gone too. Just me and the wind. The chopper found me 6 hours later. I don't remember activating the beacon. I don't remember crawling half a kilometer across that frozen hell. I just remember the cold, letting go of me too easily, like it was done feeding. They didn't ask questions, just hauled me into the cabin, pumped me with fluids, and kept the heat maxed. I didn't speak the whole flight. Not until the pilot turned back and said, "You're the only one? The whole squad?" I nodded. There was no one left to save. But that was a lie. They were all still down there. I see them in reflections, hear them in vent rattles, feel them in my dreams, when I manage to sleep at all. Sometimes I wake up to frost on the inside of my windows. Sometimes my radio clicks on by itself. Once, I heard Holt's voice. "You never left, Ward." The official report says it was an avalanche, equipment failure, Communications blackout. The usual. They buried it, like they always do. But some nights, I hear the wind shift, and underneath it, just barely, something breathing. Not far. Not gone. Just waiting. Because the ice doesn't forget. It remembers. And it remembers me.